Yo, it's the ADIX up in this bitch. What's happening, man?
Oh man, lots of stuff going on this week. Lots of things upcoming. September is, from what I've gauged by my calendar and Madison's, uh, very busy. I have to actually, well, I'm going to still take September off of jujitsu. I just, it sucks, but it's just with everything going on right now. I can't dedicate the time to it, and I certainly don't want to pay, make donations to it to basically not attend and not really learn anything. Which, I mean, it sucks, but it is what it is. Things get busy, and that's life. But hopefully by October, things will kind of settle down, and I'll be back to it. What about you?
Hmm.
It's a tough act to follow.
It is a very tough act to follow. Um, Namely because I was a little bit annoyed by some people today. Um, we'll probably leave that out, out of respect. Like, I know it's like, oh, it's this autonomous thing and we'll do whatever the fuck we want and we'll say whatever. But honestly, I think everybody knows when they're annoyed by someone, something, whatever. They aren't trying to even do it to you, but they're just being selfish yet again, and thinking about themselves before you, um, or what have you, just not thinking of others first, which we, I think, tend to do. And it's like we've already discussed in the past. Is it a curse? Is it a blessing? I don't know what it is, but can you fuck off for 3 hours and just leave me alone to do my thing, to live life? Like, it's not pressing. It's not an emergency. Are you breathing? Is your heart beating? Is your house flooding? Like, fuck off for 2 seconds. Oh my God. Okay. So, I guess the start of my day would be related to what the hell do people do when you're driving, that just pisses you off so bad. Let's see, because I've already got a few ideas, and this has nothing to do with the people that my numbers in their contacts that I've been dealing with today. And I've dealt with 15, 20 people today, all of which have been almost all superhuman beings, very cool, very polite, very understanding, very receptive to anything that you want to say. Prompt replies, just caring all around for almost everybody. But there's like two or three people that are like, really? You just don't give a shit about my time at all. Even if you know what I'm doing at this stage of my life is more important than what the fuck you're doing at this stage in your life. No regard at all for it. Anyways, my tangents, I'll go off on three different ones and then 40 minutes later I'll let you talk. So anyways, what really pisses you off to no end, just generally, it could be this, it could be that, it could be the other. Pedestrians, bicyclists, doesn't matter. What pisses you off while you're driving? I gotta know, and then I'll tell you what's up with me.
I think one of my more prominent ones, and I don't actually deal with it a lot anymore, but for the last, I would say, 4 or 5 years, I was working in and around the GTA, so I had to commute to either Mississauga or Toronto proper. And one thing that always happens, whether the traffic is good, whether the traffic is bad, it pisses me off more when the traffic is bad, are people using the the shoulder or even the exit to a ramp to get off of the highway. They use it to pass cars, and then they throw their signal back on and merge to skip like 7 cars.
Yeah, like that help them in any real way at all.
Or the fact that they do it out of the sake to maybe, to save time or to get ahead, as if like, what, you're more important than I am and you need to get home even more urgently than everybody else that's here. Like, sure, in that one scenario, the guy's like got a pregnant wife and she's giving birth to the kids in the back. Okay, excuse me. But for the most part, it's just some typically grumpy ass person that had a fucking bad day, and they just genuinely believe that they need to get home before you.
I picture you saying, like, I don't know if it's because you stepped on a rock, like if your shoes are wet, all your little reasons I think that piss you off.
You just look at these people in disbelief, and then they've got their signal on, and I'm the type of person who can be a little, malicious about those types of things, and I'll just ride the ass of the person in front of me, and I'm like, oh, you're not getting back in, you're not getting back in. And then they look at me and they throw their arms up like, why aren't you letting me in?
What, you never saw where I came from? I just descended down this on-ramp?
Yeah.
Off-ramp? Whatever it was, like it doesn't go two ways.
No, it doesn't make any sense. Or the reverse, merging, and they're coming from a city onto the highway, and there is ample space to get in, and you can see there is brake lights for like 30 clicks, and they blow by everybody, and it's like things ending in 500 meters, things ending in 200 meters, and then they're like in the dirt, and then they're like nosing in, and they're like, I gotta get in. It's like you had so many opportunities.
And like 18
to throw.
people would have let you in.
You throw the signal on, and I just wait with my head out the window until somebody makes eye contact with me, and they are like, oh shit. And then I just wave. I'm like, thank you so much. And I get in. I'm like, okay. And then I'm in. And that's it. And then you drive like a normal person. But these people, they need to get ahead. They need to beat everybody. And that is, I'll leave it at that as my kind of my one thing that I don't luckily get to deal with very often anymore, but drove me nuts, especially when I'm in probably as big a rush or sometimes bigger than maybe that person.
You're in a bigger rush, but you're more respectful.
Yeah.
So maybe you'll play off some of the ideas I've got. And I don't have a ton, but one of my biggest things, oh my God, is these people that they're such great drivers that they're like, they might as well be engineers. And they know that you've got to come way the shit out to make a tight turn around a corner, but you're in a caravan.
Oh, like they don't have a trailer that's
they're driving like a
long.
53-foot trailer. They're in an 18-wheeler that, do not get all up in my shit on the right because I make these tight turns and it shows the sticker on them getting clipped because of how, wide they go to make the tight turn. It's like you've gotten over into your turning lane. It's a designated lane for said turning. So you're rolling. They get over into their turning lane. Everybody's gay. And then all of a sudden, they got to come way out to not Kirby the back wheels because they've got this wheelbase that's just so incredible. It's crazy. It's a caravan. Or like a Kia Rio is even better. And they come out from the curb to make the turn to not really skid those back wheels like they're pulling this huge rig or have this big ass trailer. Like you just came back into the lane you left. Whereas if you were so concerned about that, don't merge all the way into that turning lane completely, but just keep that extra space if you're so concerned about it. But you're such a smart driver that there's no way you'll Kirby your back right wheel when you're turning right. So you'll come way out,
Get
back
your left
into
side
the same
totaled.
lane. Yeah, right in front of me. Luckily, I can friggin' I can anticipate your movements by viewing the tires. As you'll see, the tires and the lines tell lots of stories. You can just watch someone's tires on the line or not. You go, oh, I know what they're going to do. I can predict this shit. And you start to see them. They're going to turn right, but they're veering out to their left. And they don't have a large rig. And you just know, okay, I'll back off. I know these kind of special types. And then they come way out to make that turn because they're smarter than everyone else who just goes in that turning lane and turns just perfectly fine. So that is like when it happens 2 or 3 times where I'm being cut off due to you being such a clever driver and coming way out from the curb not to hit it when you're in a less than 20-foot wheelbase. I'm not talking like an extended express van and you go, oh, geez, maybe if I really crank it tight. You're not pulling a boat. You don't have a big rig. Like, oh, man, that's really something.
Since you're talking about turning, another thing that
See,
drives
I knew
me
someone
nuts
would come up on it.
in that same scenario where maybe they veered out, maybe they haven't, maybe they're just a normal person, and they almost like fully stop and like crank their wheel and then like make the turn. Like they don't drive through the turn, they almost fully stop.
Oh, I know the kind. They might as well come way out then stop them before they navigate the turn. Like
it's so that drives me nuts because I'm like I get it. You've maybe got something fragile in the back. You've got,
Oh,
a
yeah.
fish
If you
tank
got a
with water in it and fish. Like, you don't want to spill it. I've
bag
seen,
full of eggs and stuff in the back and you forgot to secure it properly.
yeah, like I've seen Canada's Worst
I
Driver.
get it, yes.
I get the physics of water.
I'm okay with people navigating things easily or cautiously or whatever, but going like so far out of your way that it's like laughable. I'm sitting here cracking up. People think I'm listening to a funny radio show or one of our previous podcasts, and I'm not at all. I'm just laughing at you.
Yeah, like, oh, that drives me nuts. Getting onto ramps, merging onto a highway, and they're going around the bend, and it says like whatever posted speed for caution's sake, if in inclement weather, like 30, and they're driving like 12.
Which again is for one of these huge rigs
Yeah,
and shit.
and I'm like,
it's not for a regular sedan.
It's like, what are you doing? Like, I'm bad for like, I'll go over the line on the
I'll
right.
go completely like one lane over,
'Cause I'm, like,
double
hitting it
the
hard.
yellow cautionary speed because of how tight I'm going through the turn.
I'm like my apex, baby. I'm fucking there racing. I'm like,
That's
oh,
no
yeah.
problem. You're not harming anyone, upsetting anyone. Everyone else can see you. It's no big deal. As a matter of fact, you're faster than the rest of them behind you. You're not holding anyone up by hugging something and doing it tight or whatever. That's fine.
Yeah.
The lines are meant for general traffic, which could be big rigs, could be a dump truck, could be your mama, whatever. They're just navigating through the lines at the cautionary speed, which, by the way, folks, is a yellow sign, is a cautionary notice. It's not a speed limit. You don't have to do 30. You're not going to get shut down if you do 45 on the on-ramp of the highway when it's a yellow sign. Just saying. I hear you on that, for sure. Let's see, what else is there? There's the oblivious stop sign people. That's always a good one. It's an all-way
Oh,
stop.
God.
So you come up, there's four of you, you all stop at the same time, whatever, it doesn't matter, right? Someone to your right has the right of way. Someone to your left, do they have the right of way? Even if you don't know what the rule is, you can easily navigate an all-way stop intersection by either coming to a complete stop before the person, making sure they acknowledge that you did so before them and just going, or the Canadian all-way stop rule. Go ahead.
And
Go
then they
ahead.
put their window down. They're like,
Oh, come on. Oh, no, you like, you're 12 minutes in. Can you please, like, then you both go at the same time. It's like, okay, if you aren't going to come to a complete stop, you don't ever have the right of way. Okay, as much as you want to, or as much as you're much more important than everybody else, if you're coming up to the stop sign the same as I am at about the same pace, at about the same speed, I'll deliberately go boom and clearly do a stop, a hard stop, and then go.
right, because you stopped first.
But sometimes we'll come up to the stop sign, I'll do a hard stop, and what the hell? They
just
never even
continue
stopped
through
at
it.
all. I've seen cops literally pull people over right in front of me who have done that, where thank goodness I didn't just go after my complete stop. And I'm like, oh, good, look at that. It's like the instant karma videos you see of the guy just getting wrecked. I've had it happen personally, so I suppose I had to throw that one out there.
It happens a lot because of where I live. Right around the corner from me is a 4-way stop. The way that I park sends me around that way rather than the way with no stop sign.
Oh,
And
from a less busy street than the main way, I suppose, too.
Yes. And I deliberately make the full, like, rock back, dramatic stop.
That's
Not
right.
not necessarily even like a hard stop, but
But a
it was
clear,
a
still...
very clear stop. And you see the people that just like go boom, and like smack their heads off their steering wheels by tapping their brake and then rolling through it anyways. And it's like that is not a stop. I'm deliberately stopping.
Yeah, they
this
can get
way.
wrecked for it because it's like a 2, 3... Of course, discretion of the cop in all scenarios, whatever. But yeah, if you just go boonk, it could be considered rolling when you don't have a chance to look left and then look right before you go.
Yeah, or the fact that you didn't even really slow down. You just jerked your brake as you were approaching the line, and that was your stop because you stopped earlier than I stopped, and then you go. It's like, all right.
If anyone, feels like listening to us and is a driver, so to speak, and or they just have to drive every day, chime in on some of your most annoying things or what just really pisses you off while you're on the road out and about. I mean, we could be here all night with this, but I'm trying to think of what the next one should be here. I really like, with the utmost sarcasm, the left lane just chillin' person. Left lane chillin'. People in the right lane are chillin'. You're in the left lane. Chilling at the same fucking speed as they are. Like, there's all sorts of room between them. You're just doing your thing in the left lane. Same speed as everybody in the right lane. Lots of room, lots of gaps. Just oblivious to the rules of the road. Don't give a shit. I'm better than everyone else. You maybe not even consciously thinking that. That's the way you act. Get the fuck over and let somebody in the left lane, if they want to pass someone or go a little bit quicker or whatever, do what you're supposed to be able to do in the left lane. At least where we're from, the left lane is meant for passing. If it's not a carpool designated really far left lane, which could be arguments for that, but it's the left lane, especially with multi-lane roads, at least with 2+. What the fuck are you doing 80 in the left lane in an 80 for when everybody else is doing 80 and 90 in the right lane and there's gaps everywhere? Can you explain that at all? Okay, if you turn left in the next 40 seconds, okay, you're a great planner. You've come into the lane you need to be in to then enter that turning lane on your left. Okay, fair enough. But if you just roll that shit for 9 kilometers doing 80 in the left lane where everyone else on the right's doing 80 or 90, like, would you get the fuck out of the way, please, if I want to do 100 through this section or whatever, which I would never want to do or would do, but get the fuck over so I can get by.
I was driving back through Toronto a few weeks ago, and I was having a conversation with Mad, and I'm like, isn't this bizarre? And she said, what? And it was like 11:30, or like quite late, and we're driving on a massive 5-lane highway, and there's like 15 cars, and there is somehow still traffic from these people.
That's
who
what I'm
won't
talking about.
Move
That's
over.
exactly what I'm saying.
They're in their own world. They're not paying attention, and you have to look like the asshole, and not even doing it dangerously, but just actually going left lane, right lane.
You're not like
left lane
weaving,
again.
like, doing something crazy, but if you've got to pass on the right every now and again, or do this or do that, it's not your fault that you have to. You're not going to sit there and do 90 in a 100 zone.
Yeah, I'm trying to get home before 1 o'clock. Let me by, please. If I get pulled over, it's my fault. It's not your responsibility to slow me down.
Okay, so maybe we'll revisit it. Maybe, a couple people will say, oh, you know what, you didn't mention, and it might be a very valid thing that I just simply forgot that irks the shit out of me, whatever. I won't get into the parking lot etiquette or anything that, again, will be another 20 minutes with that, but I'll lay that out there for now. And come up with whatever you want or ask away or what have you. But one thing I was thinking today in anticipation that we were going to lay an hour down of, our antics was just, okay, generally speaking then, above and beyond the car game, what do people do or say at any given point, time, place? Doesn't really have any rules attached to it. What do people do or say that just absolutely irks the shit out of you? It just pisses you off so bad with whatever it might be. What would some of those things be? Because it just always stems some kind of humorous conversation or something if I can put something like that out there.
Well, more recently, at work, because I talk to a lot of people just all over North America from every state, lots of different provinces. One thing that I've came across, and it tends to come out of Midwestern folk, is, well, let me tell you this, and about the 9th or 10th time that they've said it in the conversation, it starts to wear on me a little bit, because it's just kind of like a filler, but it's almost sort of like at least maybe to me, it's like maybe like a condescension or like I didn't bring it up, and I'm like, oh, and I give them this example. Okay, well, let me tell you this. And then they say it, and I'm like, okay, well, in this situation, you maybe do, A, B, C. Oh, okay, I appreciate that, but let me tell you this. I'm like, oh my God, what are you going to tell me? And then I just
Are
want to
they
do it back to them.
asking you a question, or are
Yeah,
they?
yeah. That's how they're opening up the question with,
So let me tell you this: what happens if, and
it's
not
like, so
even
let,
necessary to say it.
it's like, so let me tell you this. You tell me, and that's basically what they're saying to me in my head. And it just, for whatever reason, it just, the more this last week and a half has gone on, the more I've noticed people saying it, and it's just starting to drive me fucking nuts.
Well, I know you deal with, or generally, I might talk with someone in the States like once a day or a couple times a week or whatever, but I think you deal with.
Probably 90% of the people I'm talking to every day are from the States. Yeah.
Okay, well that's interesting, and maybe people from the States will say, well, let me tell you this, and elaborate on what that is to them or whatever else. But that's funny, if you were to say I was dealing with these fucking Canadians all day and whatever, it's like we don't say oot and a boot and all this other shit.
I get called on that all the time.
I don't know. Maybe some provinces do, or some. I don't really know where it stemmed from. I could look into it further. But okay, that's one good one. Do you have any have any other memorable mentions?
It's so funny. My job most times is just talking to people all day, and I think maybe it's a patience thing, or maybe it's because I'm just like, yeah, like let me know, and I'm just kind of actively trying to help and trying to find the problem so that I can give them a hand. Not a ton annoys me. I think more so it's people just starting to talk over me, and I am bad for kind of like rambling
Sorry.
on. I mean, in a mutual setting, it's not that big a deal, but when I'm in the situation, I'm the expert, and you're asking me a question, and I'm explaining to you all the steps on how to do it, and if I miss one of the steps, you're going to come back to me and ask me how to do it again. I don't want to be interrupted. I want to get to the end of my explanation. And for them to interrupt me and then just start asking another question about another thing, I'm like, do you even want to learn? Do you even care?
Sometimes I continue. Like
You just continue to talk until they
ask
shut
about
up.
what happens to, well, not to just have a pissing match where no one is even heard or understood.
Sure.
Because communication is, not just saying something or the person hearing, it's that you said something, they've heard you, and there's an understanding.
Right.
Right. So I don't mean to like bash communication, as it were, at the most basic definition of what that should be. It's more of a, you've asked me shit, I'm gonna tell you in the next 2 or 3 steps. Like, and I'll keep going because I was getting there anyways. And so anyway, continue.
To that same point, most of the time, I'm going to answer the next question that you have queued up in your head with the explanation I'm giving you, which
Sure.
is why I'm giving you all these steps, which is why you probably asked me the question to start with, and I know what your next thing is going to be, which is why I'm answering it the way, because I do it every day.
Oh, like you mean to say that you've never been asked all those questions before about the same topic, about the same product, or about the same scenario? Oh, you're a professional at answering those questions?
They're like, well, you know what? Let me
No
tell you
way.
this. I'm like, oh my
Okay,
God.
do you know why you're using me to accomplish the task at hand right now? Do you know why? Well, because you're the professional. Oh, is that so? Well, then shut the fuck up for 2 minutes and just let me explain it. But, I mean, 4 minutes down the line, if you over-explain it, then you'll create more questions, right? So,
Yep.
and I'm, anybody who knows me knows I'm terrible at that. Like, it's the old double D from back in the day saying, if anybody knows my life, they know who that is. And they said, well, don't ask Adam what time it is, because then he'll teach you how to build a watch. And if I enjoy your company, you'll know it, I think, in that regard. If not, then I'll tell you what the fuck time it is. It's time to get the fuck out of my life. But whatever the case is, what was I gonna say on that one?
You're gonna do
okay.
your piss offs.
One of the big ones, which is one of the tinier ones, but just I've had enough of it. Honestly, I've had enough. How's it going today? What's up? How are you? Hey, what's going on? Living the dream. I'm living the dream. I said, oh, whose? Oh, blah, blah, blah. I said, well, don't wake up then. Like, I've had enough of your sarcastic bullshit. I'm going to make a giant t-shirt that says, Mondays don't suck, your job does. Like, I fucking had it with the sarcastic, I'm living the dream. Like, you're not living the dream. Your job sucks. I can see your job sucks. You suck. Like, quit bullshitting me. Say, this is the most bullshit ever. I can't believe I dragged my fucking hungover ass out of bed. I was drinking all night, dreading getting up to come to this job today, even though I still did it. But, and for another 10 minutes on that rant, you're not living the fucking dream. Quit being sarcastic and saying the same thing as everyone else is saying because you're not funny. I don't even smirk so much as I think frown, or like I'm inside a mask, of course, being close to people. So you don't know my full facial expression. You just see my eyes squint a bit. Yeah, I bet you're living the dream, you fucker. Like, quit saying you're living the dream, honestly, please. If I say, hey, how's it going today? Living the dream. There's a dude I work with. He's a pretty cool guy. He'll know if he decides to listen to all this rambling bullshit. Where I'll say, hey, what's going on? And he goes, living life.
He's
go,
changed it.
No, he's never said that shit. I told him that pisses me off. He goes, oh, I know, I hear you. And he goes, living life. Or I go, what's happening? And then he'll come in and go, what the fuck is going on? And I'm like, what is happening? And we do this little thing or whatever. It's quite humorous. It brings a smile to my face, at least. And I say, so what is going on? And the odd time he'll come in and go, nothing good. And I go, okay, well, I can respect that. Fair enough. Why? Oh, okay, well, I'm doing this or doing that, or I wish the outcome to this thing would have been different, or whatever. He'll know exactly who he is instantly. And maybe some other people will too. Cool guy. Doesn't seem to say the same shit as everybody else, and it's just a refreshing 20 seconds of my day sometimes.
So I guess in that kind of same vein, what is your typical response when you know somebody is trying to make small talk? They're not trying to sit down and have a conversation or actually know anything about you. They just are, hey, how's it going? What is your kind of go-to? Because I have a go-to that I use, and I'm kind of curious what yours is.
If it's the how's it going, I really can't stand I'm good or I'm doing good. What do you mean you're good? Like, as in you follow the rules? Or what do you mean you're doing good? Like, this is like volunteer time right now for the community? Or what do you mean good? That I can't stand if I have to put that out there. So for me, my typical response is something that to me personally makes sense. And if they say, how are you? And quite honestly, almost always, and sometimes not, but I'll say it anyways, oh, I'm doing well. I'm doing well. How are you? I'm doing well. How are you doing? Or whatever. I say I'm doing well. Like, I'm not good and all this bullshit. Like, that's just... And maybe I had an old English teacher, like, back in the day say, don't say you're good. Like, what are you, well-behaved right now? When someone asks, how are you doing? I'm well-behaved. How does that make sense, right? So, whatever the case is, maybe that's what it is. But, yeah, I guess a typical, good old, as far as I'm concerned, generic response is just, oh, I'm doing well. Typically, I'll say thank you and or thank you for asking. Like, why otherwise would you give a shit about me? So, oh, I'm doing well, thank you. How are you doing? And then it depends on the comfort level or who you're with to, I'm doing pretty well. What the fuck up with you? All
Right.
the way to, being like, oh, I'm very well, thank you. And how are you doing? Like to some old lady I don't know or whatever it might be. So, but I think my generic go-to is probably, yeah, I'm doing well, thank you. How are you? Or, how are you doing? That's my simple shit, I think, in that regard.
Yeah, I think maybe, I don't know what it's from, maybe the environment that I kind of lived in with like my friend group, but I use a lot of colloquialisms. So like any type of like folksy talk. And one thing I learned, which I didn't really realize it was so Canadian, I just thought it was very informal. Always at work, oh, hey, how's it going? When somebody jumps into like a video meeting with me, oh, I'm just plugging away. And I didn't realize that like plugging away, I thought plugging in my understanding of it was the old boards, right? In whatever it was, the maybe like the 40s, 50s, you would have those big boards where people are connecting calls, and they would take the things and move them
Oh
over
yeah,
from
like
this line to
literally you
that
have
line.
to, as an operator, you have to connect the incoming to the outgoing, or the two people that need to communicate together.
And that's what they're doing. They're just all day. They're just plugging away.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm doing. I'm just grinding out whatever I'm doing right now. Like
Yeah,
I'm not.
I like it a lot better than living the dream sarcastically when you really don't want to be where you are.
Yeah, like I am literally
Because
just
you are
grinding it out.
plugging away. Like typing away could be like plugging away. It's and there's so many really cool old-fashioned things that say, "Did you know that?" And we'll do that too, maybe. This saying actually came from, and there's so many that you'd go, I don't even know what the hell anybody would say that for.
Like fucking the dog. You're like, I wonder where that saying
Yeah, like
came
in
from.
1823 when Sir fucking
Whoever was out.
was caught legitimately supposed to be doing work. But, bestiality aside, what have you, but there's a saying, maybe we'll do like one a week or something where, do you know why, whatever the hell? And I think it's really interesting because there's things that people say that have no idea where the hell it comes from at all. So what we'll do, whether it be a saying, a little tune, a nursery rhyme, or whatever, we should do something that's like, this was derived from this, and you have no idea. So next week, ring around the rosy. And it's not pretty, folks.
Yeah, I feel that.
Cool. Okay, so yeah, the living the dream really pisses me off. Plugging away is fairly common, I find, but nowhere near as common as someone trying to be funny in this sarcastic manner with the living the dream thing. Like, you're not living the dream. There's 1 in 100 people that maybe say it, and I like question that might be true. But for almost all, like, don't bullshit with me with the living the dream. And I know you're trying to be funny, but so is everyone else that I ask this to that says the same shit. So I like the plugging away better, for sure. I'm typically I'm doing well. How are you doing? Or the old flyby, like, oh, I'm well, thanks. I don't have time to ask you how you're doing. I'm not as polite as you. I'm just going. I'm running. So I don't know. Things that people do or things that people say that really piss me off. What do you got?
Do. Probably in most stores or departments, when I need help, I will go and find you. I will
The high pressure help?
I will hunt down the person in the goddamn break room or outside on the loading dock having a smoke if I really do need help.
Sure.
But we're looking at this half off cologne that I'm not going to buy just because I was interested in it. I don't actually need to have a sample pulled out of the shelf to smell the thing. Do not ask me if I need a hand looking for everything. And it seems almost arrogant that I'm saying, like, go against customer service, but like, have a little bit of interaction skills with people to understand this person accidentally looked up and made eye contact with you, and now they're all like weird looking away. They don't want you to now come and approach them. They're not looking for an interaction.
It's funny about the whole sales thing. I've done many sales, do sales. Actually got an order to fulfill from one of my websites, apparently the last little while, which I'll do, whatever, right? But we also can put ourselves in the customer shoes,
Sure.
and so on. So in the just in the sake of really wanting to be helpful and giving and make someone feel that you're doing everything that they can, some people don't understand the whole human interaction, body language, what people are talking
Right.
about, their signs and the tone of voice and the look in their eyes, and all, like some people either are newer to that, don't care about that, aren't perceptive to it, they're not that detail oriented to ever want to learn or will ever realize, whatever, it doesn't matter. But funny from like some sales guys, so to speak, in one way, shape, or form, to say, leave the person alone for a minute, because I feel the exact same way as that customer going, oh shit, I was just looking. Like
Oh,
I just
no.
haven't even read the package yet. I don't even have questions yet to necessitate you being up in my space right now.
Yeah, I prefer the approach that it's very rare, but it's almost conducive to knowing that this person probably does the best on the sales team for that specific company. Is they ask you something open-ended, like, hey, how's it going? Like, oh, good. You go, all right, well, I'm here if you need help. My name's whatever, ask me any questions if you need. And that's it. They're not making you reach out to them.
Oh, you haven't felt uncomfortable yet. Sometimes they'll even give you a business card and say, seriously, like, I do want to help, but I'm not going to intrude until you give me the go ahead. And just make sure you seek out, me, especially in a commission-based thing, but they're
Right.
not trying to be high pressure. And there's 4 other vultures circling around the couch section while you're looking at the lamps.
Yeah.
But you're like, no, Damien's the man right now. Like, he has not made me feel uncomfortable in any way, and you all could have done the same thing at the same time, but guess what? You didn't, and he was there and I was here, and
Yeah.
that's how it works. But yeah, just don't grind me out yet, because if anyone, we know how to play the game. So
Right. It's like, do you want to force probably, let's say, 90% of the conversations? And I get it. It's commission based. They need to make sales, but and that's why personally I don't think I'm like the prototypical salesman. Is I don't like selling shit to people in any job that I've ever had where I was in sales to somebody that doesn't either A, need it, or B, want it. If they don't fall into those two categories, I know I could probably still sell them on something. But do I really want to? Do I really want to sell them on that thing that they do not need, do not care about, are literally just browsing and have no intent? Because again, there's a chance that you do that work and you expel that effort for them to give you literally nothing back. Maybe they give you attitude. It puts you in a shitty mood, and people are like, oh, just put your head down and sell. And like, that's the very old school way to do it. But I find I have better conversations with people at, any job that I've had, just opening the door and like, hey, if you have questions, do this and do that. Ask me this, ask me that. If I see them looking at something and they're like really struggling between two things, I like to just throw information out about the thing. I'm not trying to sell them. I'm just giving them information that isn't on the package or on the bottle or whatever. And they, oh, and that might sway them to one side.
sure,
That's
use scenario or something that the packaging just for whatever reason couldn't say. First thing I suppose I thought of when you said that is, okay, like, are you working for an absolute shit company or selling a shit product? Like, where it's literally just, it's so bad. Like, what are you wasting your time for? Okay, so assuming you're not, maybe the product doesn't sell itself, or maybe there's a vast variety of said products or services, whatever it is. Okay, fine. There's somebody I knew that would sell 12 of these a month, or whatever, and I would only sell 8. And like, they were better. They're better than me, better salesperson. And everyone that I sold the whatever it was to, their mother had to come in and see me. Their daughter had to come in and see me. Their ex-boyfriend's old pool guy's plumber had to come in and see me. I don't know why a pool guy would need a plumber necessarily. Whoever it was like this word of mouth thing that slowly but surely kind of, because I made sure, like, that guy that was like, fuck you next, how many times did they come back? They're like standing there with their product or with their, whatever thing it is. Like, I don't even really know all that much about this or how to use it or that it even can do this or that for me, but I bought it because I was convinced to, and now I'm kind of sitting here with my dick in my hand, in a sense, Whereas my people are like, I can't believe it's got this feature. I can't believe it can do this. And oh, yo, Bobby, look at this shit. And oh, really? I can't believe it. Nobody would have even known if you didn't show me that. Oh, maybe I can go get one too. Or now, all of a sudden down the line, you still got the same 12 a month of people that'll never come back or ever talk to you again. Good for you. You're so great. So after so many years, like maybe depending on the product and the population and the marketplace, you can actually continue to do that to an extent. Whereas for me, I've helped to grow the entire company on the product.
And you're going to grow that pool that you have. You could
sure.
have half the size pool, and more of those people are going to continue to come back, and just that small little pool can just feed into your sales, where this person has to go out and hunt these 12 people.
A new person who's never heard, seen, experienced that salesperson in their life, and they'll really get them. And the hunt is fun and whatever. Okay, cool.
Sure.
But yeah, so there's my method. I'll take double the time that you would if the person seems to have the questions or the whatever interest in knowing this or that. Whereas interested or not, with 12 units a month guy, like he's not even around long enough for you to think of your next question about it, or whatever, right? So no, it's not a matter of just like boom, boom, boom. It's more of like, oh yeah, so your son is also okay, cool. Well, now I've already got like a hot lead for tomorrow morning.
Yeah, you've got the rapport
Like,
built. This person wants to
Not
talk to you.
oh my gosh, like is there a buyer's remorse take it back clause in that contract? Or I feel like I've just been, shot, fucked, snake bitten, or powder burnt, and I don't even know what direction this has come from, and now I'm hurting and I feel like a dick, and oh my gosh, my wife maybe didn't even know, or my husband, blah blah blah, like it. So I never was out to ever really fuck someone for my own benefit.
Yeah,
I always I slept okay at night in that regard. And hey, I mean, somebody that's not raised with the same morals or values or whatever else might be very different, or that you're in such dire straits that no matter what it takes, you're gonna, pay that rent this month because you're struggling more than maybe I did or whatever else. Like, it's hard to judge in that manner, but I never just, it was like, okay, let's make sure that you're cool, you're happy, you're going to come back tomorrow and be happy. Or if I call you in 2 weeks and say, hey, how's so-and-so, such and such, whatever doing, they'll be like, oh my gosh, it's absolutely great. But one question I have about this is, or, hey, can you, what? And then all of a sudden they're like, hey, my boss actually had mentioned that, oh, okay, well, let's talk. Let's whatever. And then now they feel cool because their boss is also dealing with you, and oh, haha, or whatever it is. Whereas they're never going to refer people to you if they felt like they got ripped,
no,
or whatever else. So that's my little rant on the on the sales tangent, I suppose.
Yeah, it's
So the high pressure sales bastard.
I can't stand that, or bitch. We're not sexist here.
Oh, fair enough. Yes, I didn't mean I won't go into the definitions of each, but yes.
No,
sure.
but
I've had the nasty sales women too. Don't get me wrong. I'm never sexist in that regard.
Yeah, and it's so strange because and maybe there's a really good closer who's listening to this podcast that's like, you son of a bitch, exposing me. But like I
know how to close somebody and I can do it, but I don't always want to.
And like, don't you want to have fun? I have fun at any place I've worked at, for the most part that I can think of. That any time I had an opportunity, at least to either interact with, whether it be a coworker or whether it be a prospect or just a person looking for help, it doesn't cost me anything to be nice. And from being nice, you typically get a nice response. And then there is that little kind of back and forth. And then it's fun. This person tells me a funny story, or they're like, oh, this and that, or like, oh, I know this person. And it's like, oh, wow, that was nice. And it just makes you feel kind of good and gives you a little bit of a pep for the next half an hour or hour, the rest of your day, or maybe your week, depending on the interaction, versus just churning people out. It's like, oh my God, it's so stressful.
I never felt really shitty after somebody just whatever. It could be selling them a car, a house, a boat. It doesn't really matter. I've never felt like a complete shithead when ultimately the ink or the, DocuSign these days comes back through. I just never felt like, haha, got you. I'm getting paid and you can't do shit about it. I never ever thought that. I never thought that way. I never had problems going to sleep thinking, oh my gosh, what does that person think now that they've realized how much I've really screwed them? I never thought it. Sold all sorts of different things in my life.
Yeah, you
Never thought it.
You never used the how gullible they were
Sure.
as a gauge to win that deal or win that sale.
I like
or
it
what
to
have you.
be the reason why they should be more educated than the next less gullible person, or why they should think about it that way. Maybe I got screwed in this manner. So I'll tell you how and why we're going to do it this way for your protection,
Yep.
because that actually makes me feel better. And maybe I don't get that commission tonight. I get it in 2 weeks once you actually go out there and realize, oh, hey, I was not bullshitting you or lying to you or manipulating you. I was just laying the cards on the table. You dealt with 2 other people and went, oh, I actually do understand what you're saying now. And you come back to me. So I just put the stuff out there in the world,
Yep.
and the right stuff seems to come back to me. So
Yeah. One of the most common places that it happened to me was when I was selling supplements. People would come in and they're trying to buy this thing, and I'm like, so what? Like, what's the purpose of buying this? Like, just curious. Like, what's your day to day type thing? And they explain to you why they came in to buy this product and how you're thinking about it, and this product is not going to help them. It's not going to solve an issue. It's not going to make them better at this or make them lose weight or put on or whatever.
Oh, sure.
You're
Yeah.
like, oh my God. Like, for one, who taught you this? Or if you're researching it, like, just let me lay some knowledge down real quick just about this product. And like, sometimes you can't even unconvince this person to not. I'm like, oh, please don't buy this thing. It is not going to do this thing that you think it's going to do. It's like,
it's not magic dust and so on. And some
Exactly.
people are just, they'll throw out so much money, and I don't have to tell you how it is, but if I take this and this, then I'm just going to become like really sexy, right? To the opposite sex, or lose 50 pounds and basically not change any of my other lifestyle options or choices. Just if I take a couple of these pills or drink this shake right now, I'm mint.
yeah, it's like, no, it goes in tandem with like 9 other things that you have to do for months before you buy this thing that you're buying right now. This will have zero or little effect. And a lot of the stuff, frankly, doesn't have a huge effect on you, even when you're doing all the right things. A lot of them are just fun. Like the super high caffeine stuff, it just gives you a little buzz. It doesn't
Sure,
make
like
you
yeah.
necessarily work out harder, but taking caffeine and then going to the gym and feeling like you're really jazzed up. Did you really get a better workout than if you didn't take it? Probably not, but you sometimes feel like it, and it's also just fun to be all hopped up. So you're like, yeah, let's just get all hopped up
Maybe
on
you
this thing
burned
and go work
another
out.
150 calories during that whole period. Maybe you decided I'm not really all that hungry right now. I don't need to stuff my face with pretzels.
Right, or maybe you crash hard as shit after the gym and you're
Sure.
like, oh my God, I feel like crap. I feel like I'm having palpitations.
I better grab a bag of pretzels, but maybe you end up just having a shower going to bed. Who knows? I don't know. Do you? So yeah, I can feel you on that. We've sold a lot of weird and wonderful shit. Really cool shit, not so great shit. Lots of stuff. Yeah, like if you want to basically buy anything, just like send us an email.
Oh man.
Or like comment on wherever you're listening or watching this from, because if we can't sell it to you, like, we've got a guy, and I don't mean that in a bad sense. Obviously we care about the end result, but yeah, shit, if we haven't done it or know about it, we know the person who has or does, like,
Oh yeah, usually within
pretty cool.
one connection of you,
Yeah.
you have the next person that can do that thing or can install that thing or can get you that thing.
sure.
Yeah.
It could be anything from, I want a new vehicle to I want to buy a house to I want to replace the roof on said house to I want a new patio or new deck made or built, or I want a new computer, or I want my something related to any of those, all the above fixed, or like, I don't know. You could throw out 100 other examples. We can either do it, are part of it, or know the person who is.
And a lot of those interactions, at least for me, have came from potentially talking to a customer of mine and being cool with them and building that rapport. And you find out that their dad does this or their cousin is this, and you're like, oh, and now you have that connection made.
Oh, you mean actually being genuine to
Genuine
someone?
and personable and helpful. Yeah, that's,
No way.
That's the way that you
can't believe
expand
it.
your connections. That's how I got my current job, just by being, at least what I thought, being pretty nice and trying to be receptive and interested in the industry that I was in. And the person was like, yeah, I think this guy is either whatever, is sharp or is at least willing to learn this thing more than other people who maybe know more and just don't give a shit.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, so here, we'll introduce you to this guy, and got employed by that company from this connection.
And don't get it twisted as far as like as if healthy competition doesn't exist, or you really want to get down with, whatever it is. Like, it's not like, oh, we just bend over and take it, and that's how we do in life. It's actually just a respect thing, I think. So some people will get that mixed up with laying down and respecting yourself and others. That's two completely different things, although some people would perceive them to be the same. Oh, that person's just polite, nice, respectful. They just bend over or lay down for anything or anyone. Well, don't get your shit mixed up in that regard. I think for some people, I'd like to just put that out there for.
No, I think it's a great example, because a lot of people are, oh, like, this person will give me the discount because they, they're so nice, like they'll just, they'll do whatever for me. It's like, no. I'm going to give you the info that I would want if I was trying to buy this product, because I looked this product up for 3 weeks online and in a magazine and here and there before I went to the place. Because, I mean, similar to car sales, right? More times than not, I feel nowadays, people show up and they just tell you the car that they want because they've done
they know more about it than
9
you
days
do.
of research. Yeah, and
You've got to learn 40 different things. They've learned down to about 1 or 2.
And they're like, this is the option or this is the option. How do I get myself in this Corinthian leather today? And you're like, oh, well, you do it like this, and we'll sign
Oh,
it.
sure. That's like been so much the way of the newer world. So there's still people that are, I don't know if I'd say old as the Pepperidge Farm guy's balls necessarily, but some people that have, like, when they started in sales, they said, congratulations, you're certified in this, or you're licensed to do this, or you're whatever, and given the phone book. Happy selling. And it's like, now, if I was going to sell a car, which I don't particularly do very often, I'm certified in automotive law and ethics in, Ontario, Canada, but I'm not out to, grind like new whatever, right, prospects. But, for you, if you need to buy a car, or for, whatever, a really good friend, family member, something, I would do it anyways. But where I'm trying to go with this is that I'm going to give you a video walk around and a tour of this vehicle that you might consider coming in to test drive before I even meet you in person. Not, if you don't have an appointment, you're fucked.
Yeah.
If you don't come and see me at this date, this time, you're fucked. And I get all that, and I completely understand the old versus the new and everything else. But if I send you an email and inside's a 1-minute video of, hey, did you know that the vehicle you just bought from me last week and took delivery of can actually do this? That is a little bit more of a, hey, so that thing's still running, doesn't have the check engine light on, right? Okay.
Click.
It's a new world, it's a new game, whatever. That's just an example, right?
Yeah. But
whatever, so.
But I don't necessarily like that in all situations. This week I was trying to set up an appointment with my bank for something that I maybe couldn't find information on.
The disrespect for trying to do something in person in the opposite way.
I'm like, just let me fucking talk to somebody. I have like 2 questions that I cannot find answers to online, and I maybe don't have the immediate person that I can reach out to and be like, hey, do you know the answer for this? Or maybe I just don't care to reach out to them for that, because it should be easy enough to just get the fucking answer from my bank. And eventually I booked the appointment by phone, just because I chose not to go in. I couldn't be bothered. But that's all I wanted. And it's like 2 weeks in advance. And I'm like, I just want to ask like 3 questions and then I'm good. And that's all I need. And like, couldn't find it. It's like, oh, book an appointment with an advisor. Do this, do that. Lick this stamp and then go outside and spin around 3 times and all these stupid steps. I'm like, I just want to have a 2-minute conversation, which it will probably be about 2 minutes unless I get talking, with somebody who knows better than I and can say, no, that's not right. Yes, this is how you do this. This is the minimum score to do this, or you need X amount to do that. Okay, cool. Thank you.
And I could have hooked you up with the person to ask, right? That's the funny thing.
But it couldn't be bothered to,
Sure.
to ask you for any more favors.
Oh yeah, because that would have really put me out. But if it's like someone I don't know or deal with, then I assume you do or deal with. So all I have to do is run a simple thing like that, by me. Maybe make it public. Maybe don't. I don't know. Maybe we learn something off of each other. Who knows? Okay, so we did stuff on the road pisses you off. Stuff people say or do kind of pisses you off. And I'm not like some pissed off person by nature. There's just something that is either so redundant or gets to me after so long. Like, it's not the first time somebody did the wide turn out or said living the dream or something when I asked how they were doing, right? This is hundreds and hundreds of times where now I'm going to vent about it. What else?
No, I can't think of anything. I've actually, I've got a wicked headache. That's like what I was drinking was like a caffeine drink. Usually that solves the headache game for me.
Mm-hmm.
Just because of a pure dependency on it.
Fair enough. Hey, we all have many vices. Caffeine is certainly one for most people. Maybe we'll do an episode 1, being that this is the beta. So season 1, episode 1 is next. Maybe we do some vices or stuff about
hardest
vices
habits
or,
to kick.
Yeah, and what advice might be. What ones have you kicked? What ones have you tried to kick? What ones have you never had? I don't know. It's an interesting topic, but yeah, that's, we're laying down almost an hour. We edit this out, we clip this, we clip that. Oh no, 57 minutes or whatever it ultimately is. Boo-hoo. I had a couple good laughs. I vented about some stuff, certainly about my day, maybe my week, maybe half my life. Who knows? And we know people. We finally got to a point where we know a lot of people that are in different games, which is super helpful.
Yeah, I one of the most important things that I think I've learned as I get older is just being a good person, because those connections can save your ass in a situation. They can make or break a situation. They can completely help you avoid a situation entirely.
No question.
Like, very, very grateful to just, when you do get that opportunity, like we had talked about in the past, to get to meet those cool people, and somehow you stumble along them from this weird, tied in relationship of, the boyfriend's brother's sister's cousin that you somehow met through this one relationship you built.
Don't take something for granted, even if it's going to be a 30-second thing. I've said, hey, how's it going, blah, 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 and I don't even know why, but all of a sudden we're exchanging business cards for a super exciting or incredible service either of us provide, not in like a nasty way. That's like very desirable. This guy's doing all this hydraulics and valves and stuff with hoses, and I'm like, my tractor just did this, and I need that. And then they're like, oh, I can't believe that you're in real estate or, whatever. And then all of a sudden, hey, you want a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, such and such a home in this area? Well, I'll email you the 4 that just came up today, and you can help me fix my tractor. It's like, but it only took 1 minute to just not take for granted someone else or what they might be able to bring to the table or their skills. And it's so cool to give someone the benefit of the doubt before just judging them by, the cover of the book and or what they said, or because they might have been upset for a second, but whatever, you decided, I'll take the extra minute to just discover if this person's about anything further than what might lay on the surface. And surprise, everyone is.
Yep.
So kind of cool. That's a good way to throw it down at the end.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, this was a good one.
It always seems to be, man.
Yep.
The ADIX up in this bitch. See you, folks.